Good morning, everybody in the wonderful world of social media. I've been making a lot of reels and posting this stuff on here and stirring the pot simply because it helps me. It helps me on the inside. But I just want to make one thing clear and get it out there. A lot of people have been thinking that I'm certain left, right, middle, Democrat, Republican, Christian, Muslim lover, Jew lover. No, they don't think I'm a Jew lover. But look, people, I don't support any political party. I don't support any organized religion. I totally base how I handle people on the character of the people. I don't believe that, I believe that parties, being on teams and parties keeps people away from agreeing and disagreeing with certain aspects. A lot of us would get along better if we didn't have political parties and we just, we agreed and disagreed on our individual beliefs, and that's how we did. That way you can work with something someone says or not. And the same with religion. I believe in God and I follow the teachings of Jesus. I don't need a church. I don't need a Bible. I don't need any of that stuff for me to get closer to God or to do anything. I don't judge. I'm not with organized religion because man corrupts religion. Man corrupts spirituality and turns it into religion. If you go into the history of a lot of these, most people don't know the history of their religions. They don't. They just know what they were taught as a child, and that's how they were taught. A lot of people will not divert from the King James Version of the Bible because that's how they were raised. And they were basically taught out of fear that if you don't believe this, you'll go to hell. You won't make it to heaven. And they were taught this as a child. So they don't realize that as an adult, now they're scared. They're more scared of it. But yes, they do things because, and that's not all of them. There's a lot of people in religion because of the positive aspects and the love. But man corrupts spirituality with religion. So basically, I just do like Jesus said. He was very simple. He said that, the people are, the God is inside us and we're all holy people. We are the temples. And basically, it's belief on the inside. It's not, you don't need any, preacher. You don't need anybody else telling you. If you want to find God, then you just go in somewhere and you shut the door and you sit down and you start dealing with yourself. And when you do, there'll be these two little voices that'll pop up in most of our heads. And one tells you all the things that you should do that don't feed your ego. And then the other voice will tell you all the right things to do that feed your ego. You can go help this person. You give them $20 so they can eat tonight, and that's going to be one more step you got going to heaven. You go do this over here, and that's going to be one more step that you get to heaven. Or you help these people over here, and they might leave you a bunch of money or something. Or you go help these people over here, and they might give you something. No, I do things because it's the right thing to do. That's how I go. That's what my heart says. That's why I tell people a lot of times, because I'll do stuff for free. And people will be like, and then it's even people that have money. Like a lady the other day. I was picking up a check at the next door neighbor's house and she had an issue and I went over there and it took me 2 seconds to fix her pool. And she's like, what can I pay you? I was like, nothing. You don't have to get paid for everything all the time. Some things you do just because it's the right thing to do. But she refused and she paid me anyway. And she paid me way more than what I'd even would have told her. And she sent it to me Venmo, and she was like, "No, you're taking it." And I'm not going to argue with someone that's grateful for me wanting to be selfless and help them. And they're returning the favor. But I didn't do it initially for $1. I was ready to walk away and just do it because it was the right thing to do. And that's how I live my life. I'll give some homeless people my last couple of bucks because I know that I'm going to be fed and I'm going to be taken care of because I always am. I've been hustling since I've had back surgery for the last, 15 years, and I've been making it. Now, granted, I'm not a rich man. I don't have a fine house. I don't have nice cars, and I can't go on vacation all the time, and I do suffer. But in my suffering, I find, I don't know, I find peace sometimes because I'm not worried about going hungry and needing $1. I just, I know I have to have these things to keep the lights on and to move forward and stuff. But I'm more worried about what's going to happen to Willie when he dies. I'm more worried about feeding my soul. And whether you believe that, even my friends that believe in science and don't even believe in religion, I don't care. I want to be the best version of myself that I could be on this planet when I leave. I don't want to be the most negative version of myself. That doesn't even show intelligence. If we're considering that we're intelligent people, then you should want to be the best version of and help the world as much as you can, because, man, it is a miracle that you're here. And life is a miracle. Not other people get to make it this far. My best friend died when he was 21. I had other friends that died when they were kids. I've had family members commit suicide because they couldn't handle life. I couldn't even imagine how tough that is. That is a lot. It takes a lot to do something like that. And I'm so grateful that all the things that went through me, that happened to me, that I have found the light and not stayed in the darkness over it. Because there's a lot of people that do. And I'm not on here to condemn people for their religious beliefs, because a lot of people... But first of all, a lot of people are taught their religion when they're in childhood. They don't know the history of it. They don't go in depth on it. All they know is what they've been taught in church, and they just read their books and their Bibles. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll look at a lot of the Ethiopian Bible. It has it's one of the oldest Bibles, and it has the most chapters. If there's 88 chapters in one of the oldest Bibles, why would you only want to read the one that's got 61 chapters that was written, by the Romans through the Catholic Church? Which, if you look through that, the King James Version is a Catholic Bible, and if you look through that, they were doing some evil shit back then, and it was all about control. It's control based. It's you go to the church to find, you go to the church for everything. The priest will do this. The preacher will help you. No, you don't need any of them. Now, you'll find everything that you need within your heart. You are the temple, and you'll find everything you need. You can find God in your heart without anybody else telling you or showing you nothing. All you have to do is want it and believe in it. And the more that you want it and the more that you practice it, and the more you'll believe. The more that you're doing things for the right reason and getting things back, then you'll understand. When you stop feeding your ego and feed your soul, then you'll understand. That's the only way I can explain it. I quit feeding my ego a long time ago because my ego was dragging me down. It had vengeance. It had regret. It had, it didn't want to understand, but my soul does. My soul wants peace. But my soul will defend itself also. There's a fine line in there. You've got to be a monster in this world and decide not to be. That's the only thing I can say. Like Jordan Peterson said, and I've been through gonna be the monster, and I don't want to be. So basically, I don't want to make this too long. So let everybody know that I'm spiritual. I believe in God. I roll with Jesus and the teachings of Jesus. If you want to know how I'm going to handle things and how I look, then ask yourself, what would Jesus do? It's pretty simple. It's very simplified, and that's why Jesus came here, was to simplify spirituality, because man distorts religion and writes it through his ego. And those men aren't feeding their souls, they're feeding their egos. And why would you want to follow men that feed their egos and not their souls? So you can feed your soul if you look within yourself. If you go sit in silence and you listen to your mind and you deal with the things in your head. You can't run, like I tell people. You cannot hide from anything that's ever been done to you, nor the things that you have done to other people. You have to understand why you reacted and why you did things the way you did, and accept your fallacy, your faults, for what they are. And then you learn from them. If you screw up and you learn from it, become a better person, then that's feeding your soul. And the more that you do that, all I can say is the better you'll feel. And so many people use religion as false hope, and they're hollow on the inside. I mean, listen, they speak about love and stuff in one sentence and then condemning other people to death, and they're even willing to condemn their children, and all you're doing is repeating what someone else said. You're not looking your heart. No child needs to die because, first of all, kids don't know religion. Man teaches it to them. You understand? But a lot of people have found God without ever knowing a religion because they started looking within their heart, and then they started feeding their soul and not their ego. And it's very simple. Jesus simplified it, man complicates it. It's as far as I'm going with this video today. So I just hope it helps some. Some probably be like, ugh, and I don't care if you go, ugh, because it's not about you, it's about me. That's why I make these videos, to get stuff off my chest, because the more that I say things out loud and speak it on my soapbox, the better I feel about things. And every day life gets a little bit better than it was the day before. And I'll always stay this way, and I'll believe this way. And I don't believe I'm going to, I don't condemn anybody for not believing the way I believe. I'm only going to pass my how I mess with you on who you are. And then whether or not I feel like, I'm not going to condemn everybody, all the time, because that you believe in different politics or you believe in different religions. I'm going to help you as long as you're trying to be a helpful person. And then that's really it. I don't want to start rambling, so I'm going to get the hell off here. But now you people understand that I'm no political party, and I'm no religious faction. I am Will Featherstone, the individual that believes in God and follows the teachings of Jesus. And if you ever want to know what Will thinks he's going to do next, just say, what would Jesus do? And that's how I roll. When I debate things, I listen to the positive voice of my head that feeds the ego. That feeds my soul and not my ego. And I say, what would Jesus do? Because Jesus, that's all he did was follow his soul. He didn't have an ego. He had a soul. So that's it, people. Peace, love, and y'all have a happy Thursday. And I hope it helps some, and I hope it helps everybody. So that's it. I'm out. Bye-bye.